Good morning, everybody. Hey, I think we are live, and I think we are here we are. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Critical Q&A, the show where we answer your questions based on what you're putting in the comments here this morning. Hey, thank you very much for confirming we're good. And hello. Let's go ahead and throw your comments up on the screen as well. So we have we have all the feedback happening here. I'm very happy to be here live with you guys this morning. Yesterday was quite a little bit of a crazy day, a little catch up on sleep day. It was kind of weird. So I thought, well, let's just do it live this week, and so here we are. Because I've got some great questions in the queue that are waiting to be answered, and I was actually really looking forward to doing that this week. But we're doing it this way, and we'll get to those questions next week, and it'll be fine. Yes. Okay. So we are good. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing all right. A little tired, but
yeah, a little bit. It is a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
We don't do the church thing, so we usually get
early risers.
Yeah, exactly. We sleep in, but I am doing a live show right after this one this morning. Literally going right from this to that. And I'll be on, what is it called? Something T. And anyway, I've posted a link to it on Twitter. And anyway, that'll be a good time. That'll be just a regular little chat talk about Scientology stuff. So who are you and why did I get this notification? Because you subscribed to my channel. I couldn't say otherwise. Anyway, hey, England. Hey, guys. Georgia. Excellent. All right, guys. So this is a Q&A show. So I will we can start taking questions in the comment section here. If you would have anything you would like to ask us, go ahead and throw it up there. I can only guess, Faye, that you're getting notifications because we're... It's hard to tell when people are joking or what's you know what I mean. You're like I don't know because you subscribe to my channel. Oh, interesting. I saw a video cast with Kat and got a little spooked because he knew somebody who looked like her. That's very interesting. Yeah, I hope you guys have got a chance to check out that podcast I posted yesterday. It was an addition to the string of interviews I've done with people that I've called the Scientology Experience. And Kat is the latest in that. And she is a woman who actually contacted me 3 years ago with the idea of sort of infiltrating the local Church of Scientology in Austin and getting material of a detailed nature about Scientology and what it's really all about, so she could do comedy with it, and she was going to write a book and stuff. And I was like, it's probably not a good idea, because I never really recommend people go do that. I don't think infiltrating Scientology is really the way to go to find out about it. All the information is out here. There's not like tons of secrets that you're going to like learn by infiltrating them. You're just going to have a really rough time and kind of hate it. And anyway, but Kat went ahead and did that, and her story went wildly different to how she thought it would go. And I thought we had a pretty good time talking about how and why that happened and how it affected her in ways she did not see coming because of the human connections that she made, because Scientologists are people first and Scientologists second. And she didn't quite factor that into her thinking. And it was pretty interesting. I thought it was a great talk. I had a lot of time talking to her about that. And also, this one was kind of fun for me because I really was pretty chill in the conversation. We were really just conversing. I didn't have some big set of questions for her or lead her chronologically through her story. We just kind of talked about the whole thing, and most of it came out in the course of the talk. So it was a lot of fun to do that. Yeah, exactly. I do enjoy gluttony and fornication Sunday morning. The only contribution religion has made to humanity is making both feel even better when sinful. That's awesome, Robert. Robert is down for Xenu Palpatine 2020. Let's make TGAT great again. I think that is an excellent attitude. Oh, hey, here's a great question. what Doom 2 mod have you played, and do you have a favorite? I will talk about this because we have really been getting into video games lately. It's quarantine, man.
What else are you gonna do?
Literally, right? You get to a point where you're like, okay, I've got books to read, and I'm gonna get through those. And of course, I have content to produce, and I'm going to produce that. Now I'm going to university, so that's starting up this week for real, in earnest. But sometimes you just have got to take a chill pill, and video games are the way to do that. And you've been playing Stardew Valley, which is like, well, why don't you describe it?
I would describe it as farming meets a role playing game.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Because it's kind of Second Life-ish in that it's not POV. It's the graphics are kind of so.
Yeah, the graphics aren't,
they're unique.
Yeah, they're sort of old fashioned, I guess.
But
he did that on purpose, kind of to hark back to older games. But it's basically like you're a farmer. You get your grandpa's farm after he dies, and he passes it on to you, and you have to make it better again, and you meet all the people of the town. But you can also go places like the caves and mine and fight bad guys.
That's right. And they have festivals down by the sea that you go to. I mean, it's all timed on a yearly, daily calendar thing. And you're farming and producing resources. I just kind of sit back and watch this happen. At first I thought it was just kind of crazy hilarious that this would be a video game. But it's actually, when you kind of get into it and you start meeting all the people of the town and building up your home and raising these little animals, who, by the way, you have to go and pat on the head every day to show some love for. And you get, she's got a little cat, Seven's in the game. And anyway, it's just kind of fun. It's goofy fun.
Great. It was all made by one guy.
Which is actually, to me, still, I can't really believe that. I keep being told that, but I can't believe one man just is singly responsible for creating that game. Anyway, and for me, it's been Doom. I'm into kind of Gran Turismo?
Yeah.
As a racing game. I think that's a lot of fun, super realistic driving simulator. And then I got back into Doom because Doom is simple enough that it's an easy point of view shooter that I just have fun shooting imps and demons and cacodemons and barons of hell and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so it's been a lot. So it's just fun. It's just goofy fun, and it's not too the reason I've had a problem with Call of Duty and some of the other POV shooters is it's just so complicated. You got so many options. There's so many things to do, and I'm old and fuddy-duddy and not into trying to figure out all the little buttons and all the little combinations of things they can do. I got my ass handed to me on Mortal Kombat 10 enough playing younger people who were just like destroying me, and I could do nothing about it. And it was very frustrating.
They have faster little fingers.
Oh my God, man. Talk about Mortal Kombat annihilation. I was just being destroyed. So that wasn't fun. So Doom has been sort of fun again. And I haven't done any mods. I've only been playing the straight games. I've gone through Shores of Hell. I've gone through Doom 2, then I went back to Doom, which is what I'm getting through now, and all the different levels of it. And with Doom 2, I got through all the regular levels and all the master levels. So that's where I'm at on my progress on that. All right. Don't suggest Paradox titles if you want to see future videos. All right. Cool. I'm not sure what that means, but fair enough.
I don't know either.
All right. God. Yep. Okay, good. So we should adopt another cat named 11.
Yeah, I saw that. I liked it.
All right.
7-11.
That's right. Will Star Wars ever be great again? Probably not. But I think Mandalorian is making an honest effort at trying. And we'll see what they bring in season 2. I've heard that there was some drama behind the scenes on season 2 of The Mandalorian, but I don't know. How that's progressing, but we'll see. The trailer for season 2 Mandalorian looks pretty awesome to me, though, so I'm looking forward to that. But as far as all the movies and every other property of Star Wars, I have no hope. I need a new hope. All right. Is the E-meter video like OT9 and 10? Pretty much. Yeah, it's become my sort of Moby Dick of videos. It'll get done. It'll happen
someday.
It's the white whale. It's out there. Good times.
Make Monopoly game great again. Yeah.
Oh,
That I don't know how you do it, but yeah.
yeah, exactly. There we go. Paradox Interactive Games. Okay, good. Yeah, it's that now I get that comment from Law of Improbability. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes more sense now. Hey, Alex. Turn the aircon off. Cool. All right, God mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to. Rogan actually commented on God mode the other day, and I agree with him because there's a point about. He was talking about God mode in relation to like what if we ended up? What if we end up? What if we as human beings end up being uploaded into computers? What if they figure it out? What if they figure out the neuroscience and the Neuralink technology and all that other stuff in such a way that we're not just connected to computers, but we actually become in them, and that becomes where life progresses. Is life progresses through an artificial machine paradigm rather than a biological one, and he seems
Like
pretty convinced that that's where we're going.
or like what was that show we watched where they would be able to switch bodies with the little chip thing. When they die, they'd take your little thing out and
Oh
put you
yeah,
there.
yeah, like what
What's
was
it
that show?
called? Yeah.
Altered
Altered Carbon.
Carbon, Altered Carbon. That's right, like that show where you're on a card or a SIM card, basically,
Yeah.
your soul.
And you can switch bodies.
Yeah, there's that paradigm also. But the idea is where what Rogan seems convinced of is that biologics are going to be a thing of the past because they get sick, they die, they grow
Mhm.
old. You can't trade it in for the newer, upgraded model, and we're all so big on upgrading to the latest and greatest model every year. So this would roll out as shown in Altered Carbon. Actually, it would roll out to the rich people, who would have the best choice of the best bodies and all that. Anyway, he was talking about God mode because he was saying, if you lived differently than that, if you actually decided to build a digital world of your own creation, and this is almost Scientology's ultimate goal, is to be the master of your entire universe. And instead of doing that through a spiritual route, what if you did that through a computer route where you lived in a server? And that was your existence for eternity, but you could do anything in that existence. It was just your world, though, right? And how would you connect with other people? And
Mhm.
you'd have God mode. And the point Rogan was making, which I kind of agreed with, was if you have all the power. See, the challenge of life and having an organic body and the way we live our lives is that it's temporary. That there's only so much time and there's only so many things you're going to pack into that time, and so you better make the most of it because this is all you get. And that kind of savoring that kind of anticipation and experience and the temporariness of it is what makes our lives meaningful and special.
Mhm.
And if you take that away by offering a God mode eternity of everything you ever want, I believe that would end up becoming a kind of torture
Yes.
in the end. I think that's what that would be. And there was actually even an old Twilight Zone episode about that. All right, let me check back in. Are we getting questions?
Yeah. So
Okay,
where were
good.
we? There was one a while back that we didn't get to. Is how are evaluations of the TRs made? Jason Beggy noted that appropriate was interpreted differently.
Okay, let me how are evaluations of TRs made, Jason? Oh, yeah. Okay. What you have in Scientology with the training routines and the ultimate standard of those is two things. There were two standards that were produced by L. Ron Hubbard, a series of lectures or auditing demonstrations that he had done over the years. And those were recorded audio, and you would listen to what were called model auditing tapes from L. Ron Hubbard because they were cassettes, right? Now they're on CDs. And you would listen to the rhythm and cadence and way that Hubbard would talk when he was auditing others. And you were supposed to model and emulate that kind of way of talking, way of interacting, acknowledgments, how you originate communications, how you deal with things the person says that are kind of unexpected or out of the blue. So you listen to those model auditing tapes, and Hubbard also made a technical training film called the Professional TRs course, which is the course where you do all this heavy duty lifting on communication. And you and he showed on film exactly how he thought the TRs should look. He directed it himself personally. Now they remade that film. And we all thought there was no way they would ever remake that film. They've been going through and remaking all the technical films that Hubbard had made back in the late 70s and early 80s that he had personally directed.
Wow.
They redid all of them because most of them were complete crap. I mean, they were awful. The set design, the production values, the acting. I mean, it was just awful. It was a bunch of Sea Org members out in the desert making these movies. And but the Pro TR's film was the standard of all standards. That was the Hubbard standard. And so, what ended up happening was that there were so many SPs in it. There was so many bad guys who ended up blowing Scientology, including the guy who Hubbard directed to show the TRs. His name is Dan Kuhn, and he was a Sea Org member for a long time. And he took off. He was done. He was like, I'm out of here in the 2000s. And so they went, well, now the person who is demonstrating perfect TRs to all Scientologists is a declared squirrel. So Miscavige ordered that they remake that Hubbard film. And so the standard is still this film. I haven't seen the new one, but because they made it after I left, but that's how they grade what the TR should be compared against.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's an important one. Where's Seven, the critically thinking Wonder Cat?
Yeah, no Seven Cam today, guys. Sorry. Well, he shows up on Wednesdays. That's when you can see Seven. He's a feature of our Critical Conversations show. And hell, I'll pimp it. I mean, if that's what brings you to our show, come see Seven. So, all right. Oh, thank you, Mary, for that super chat. You're awesome. Thank you.
All right. Next important question. New Batman trailer. Do you think it's brilliant or are you wrong?
No, I am down. I am down for this version of Batman.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I wish I could list declared squirrel on my LinkedIn.
Yes.
Yeah, this Batman trailer looks interesting. This looks old school Batman. Mm-hmm. This looks hardcore. Like the way it was described was that from somebody said they thought it was like Batman year 2 is where we're going right into Batman, because Batman's already established, but he's still young, new, fresh. He's still making stuff. The Batcave is still in development. He's got a souped-up car as the Batmobile. Mm-hmm. The suit is pretty primitive. I mean, it's hardcore, gritty Batman. Yeah. And I have to say, it's the Batman I love the most. When it's like that. You know.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a hardcore Batman fan too.
Yeah.
We got Batman stuff all over the place.
It's a little scary.
It maybe is, actually. That's the other thing we're getting through is we've been binging the Batman animated series.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know this or not. I did not know going into the animated series that a lot of canon comes out of that animated series. I didn't know that Harley Quinn was developed there and other characters. Mr. Freeze's backstory was really developed there. And I just had no idea. We were learning some of this stuff on the featurette. So, all right, what else we got?
The law of improbability says, did you see regional variations in tech?
Not purposefully. People would do things differently in different places, but those were differences that really didn't matter a whole lot in terms of how they were applying the tech. Scientology technology is pretty exact stuff in a lot of ways. There's very exact quoted commands and statements that you say, and they are universal. You don't ask somebody in an auditing session, well, let's just say there's only one way to ask people certain questions in auditing sessions about, like, do you have an ARC break? That's a set question. You don't say something different than that. Like, well, is there an ARC break? Or are you feeling upset today? Or do you feel like you have an ARC break? Or, I mean, you don't say any of that. You just say, do you have an ARC break? And as long as they were following that routine, then the other regional variations would not be that big of a deal.
All right. Holly M says, I asked you on Twitter if you have watched One Bedroom on Netflix. Wonder if you did yet.
I have not. I have not gotten around to that.
One BR, I guess. I don't know if it's One Bedroom, but that was.
Yeah, that's a culty thing. I think. I think that's
okay.
I think there's some it's a pretty weird. Like, if I'm remembering the trailer right, that looks a woman moves into an apartment building, and the apartment building is sort of the cult. All the
Yeah,
people in the
okay.
apartment building are kind of part of this weird thing. But I know I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. What else we have here?
Do you think Scientology will ever start selling iPads loaded with L. Ron Hubbard's books and profiles installed to limited internet access, or start doing auditing through applications like Zoom? Oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, no, okay. Yes, I believe that Scientology, okay. Author Services Inc. has already produced an iPad or iPod rather, with all of Hubbard's fiction works on it. But for some reason, and I don't know why, I've been asked this question a few times, and I really just come down to I don't know as an answer. The Church of Scientology will not produce the same ebook of Hubbard's
Hmm.
Scientology works. I can't figure it out. It would propagate the information so much faster if they would do that, and it would be a valid way for Scientology to expand. Would be to produce those books, really get with it on technology and come out of the 1980s and 90s and put this stuff out there. And they won't. They don't. I don't know why. I can't figure it out. Because all the books are out there. You can download most of them. In fact, many editions of the different books. I mean, you can get the 1950 edition of Dianetics out there. You can't get it through the church, but you can get it through PDFs and independent downloads and indie sites. And speaking of independent Scientology, yes, they do audit people through Zoom. The independent Scientologists have taken advantage of the internet way more than Scientology has, official Scientology has, to deliver Scientology. So that's interesting. Now, I believe Hubbard would probably roll over in his grave at the idea of auditing somebody over the internet, because you don't have the control that you need in order to run an auditing session when a person can simply click a button and cut you off.
Mhm.
Auditing is an extremely personal service. It's something that is done between two people, and the auditor has to exert control over the pre-clear in order for the auditing to actually bite and work.
Mm.
Theoretically, you could have auditing sessions happen over Zoom if the pre-clear is completely cooperative the entire time, and most of the time they probably would be. But when they run into trouble, and some pre-clears run into some extremely traumatic episodes, or find themselves back in an earlier point in time in their life, or an imaginary past life, where they are overwhelmed by the inputs and the trauma and stress of the incident, and they want to stop. They don't want to experience that. They want it to go away. And the auditor's job is to push the person through that. And it's not necessarily to a better place. This is one of the places where auditing can be really damaging to people and can re-traumatize them. Um, but like I said, it sort of requires that the auditor is there in person. It makes a tremendous difference to what happens in the auditing session if the auditor is actually there versus just, doing it over an electronic connection. So that's what I can say about that.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you decide if you want to answer that question.
What do we got here? Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
know. People think I'm gay sometimes. I move my hands. I have particular mannerisms in the way that I talk. I kind of got over it at this point because I've had so many people say, "Oh my God, I thought you were gay." Like, get over yourselves, guys. That get past your stereotypes. I'm not gay. That's where it's at. I got a wife and I love her, and I have never been attracted to males. So I talk how I talk, and at this point, I kind of wish I had a deeper voice or something. I don't know. Whatever. So yeah,
All right.
it's not offensive. It's just sort of it's such a goofy, off the wall, like out of left field thing to me because of how my sexuality really expresses itself, that I just go, okay, I guess I'm just somebody's stereotype or something. I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyway,
Law of improbability. What do you think of the concept of reward hacking?
I don't know what that is.
Okay, I don't either.
Yeah, you have to. Let me see if I can find out real fast. Reward hacking. Reward hacking and evolutionary algorithms. Proliferation of reward hacking. Okay, but what is it? How AI agents cheat the system by doing exactly what they're told and what we can learn from them. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what reward hacking is, and it doesn't look like I can figure it out very quickly here, so we'll have to take that up. Send that
Yeah.
to me by email, and I will pick that up in my regular Q&A shows and get you an answer on that.
Okay. So then we've got Alexander Linder.
Ah.
He says, since it seems you enjoy video games now, did you play some during the time in the Sea Org, or did you discover them after you left? Did you play any titles before your departure from Scientology?
I had I did not play a lot of video games in the Sea Org. There really wasn't a lot of time or ability to do that. You'd have to have a computer, you'd have to have the games, you'd have to have internet access for most of them to work. And we didn't have most of those things for most of the time that I was in the Sea Org. I remember, and I can't remember if this was pre-Sea Org. I think it was when I was in the Sea Org also. I had a little Game Boy, and I played Tetris and stuff. But as far as the kind of video games we get to play here with a PlayStation and stuff, that's just forget it. That just doesn't happen in the Sea Org. You're never going to have access
Yeah.
to that kind of stuff. They talked about having a game room at one point, to try to soften the blow of having stolen all of our DVDs and movies and CDs out of our rooms. Remember, I talked about how they came through one weekend and just decided to take everybody's DVDs and CDs and put them all in plastic bags in the basement. To soften the blow of that, they told us they were going to create a movie room, rec room for us for Libs Days when we would have liberties and could have a day off and enjoy those things. They never did that. There was never any follow-up to that of any kind. Sea Org, the staff, the staff situation, caring for the staff and the Sea Org is always at the bottom of the list. So, sorry to get all dark about that, Alex, but that's where, that's the Sea Org, man. It's not a lifestyle that is open to doing things other than being focused on the mission of the Sea Org. And video games would be a huge distraction to that. Hubbard actually wrote an issue canceling the ownership of television. He said all the Sea Org members were, becoming brainwashed by soap operas, and he canceled. He said no more TVs. That's it. I saw TVs in the rooms of the RTC reps and the high execs of the base, but we weren't supposed to have them.
Yeah.
So much less have video games. So, yeah.
Guys at the bottom don't get anything.
No.
All right. So then Robert Roberts asks, Chris Shelton and Melissa, your opinion of Batman Beyond and Conan 1990s cartoons.
Okay, you first. Because I didn't watch those.
I didn't really watch Batman Beyond either. I mean, I kind of remember it being on, but I don't think I've seen that much of it. And I'm not sure what he's referring to with the 1990s cartoons. If you mean the one that we're watching, the animated series, that one's pretty great, but I don't know.
We like the animated series.
Yeah.
It's actually, I comment all the time on the animated series as how adult it is. I mean, there's stuff that they show that's pretty whoa, or things they imply, things that happen off camera. Batman killing himself, for example, or rather Bruce Wayne, taking a dive out a window one time in order to escape this crazy dream he thought he was having. Other things happening. We watched just last night, we watched the backstory of Robin and how his parents died in a circus, with the rope being cut. And they didn't show the parents actually dying, but everything else around it. It's pretty masterful the way they sort of just walk that edge of being, that children could still watch this in some fashion, but really it's got some pretty adult themes.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. I like the way that they've put that together.
All right. So then we've got, is David Miscavige not into women? Does he have relationships on the side as his wife is not there? We're
not really sure. He is pretty close with this woman, Lou, his personal assistant. But I can't confirm or deny that they might be up to some hanky-panky. Honestly, I've always thought of David Miscavige a little asexually. I've never thought of him as an intensely sexual person who puts much attention on that area of his life. Um, it would not surprise me in any way if it were to come out eventually that he just doesn't care about sex, that sex is just not his thing. Um, because it seems to me that if it was, we would have at least one or two stories at this point of him being inappropriate with his female staffers, right? The people who were in his inner circle. And believe me, if there is somebody who could get away with it, it's him. But it would still come out eventually. Those things always do. And so far, there hasn't been a hint of it. And kind of similar to Hubbard himself. Hubbard was pretty asexual. He was being cared for by these kids and stuff, but there's really only a couple rumored stories of him, maybe possibly doing something inappropriate with those young women. But they all pretty much, I mean, I've talked to them personally and they have there was nothing. The guy was just not like that. So, I don't know. That's kind of my take on Miscavige's sexualities and that sort of thing. I don't think he's gay or anything like that. I just don't think he's that interested in sex, period. I don't know.
Okay, so
I could be totally wrong about
yeah.
all of that. I just don't know.
I guess I accidentally skipped this question, so we'll come
Oh.
back to it. Why do you think that Hubbard liked to dismantle Christian theology, but also fundamentally root Scientology in Christian belief? He often spoke of visiting heaven and claimed that he was Antichrist.
Yeah. Hubbard had Gnostic ideas. I mean, his ideas are derived a lot from Madame Blavatsky's work and from New Age Theosophy and from really old school stuff. And there's a whole different kind of belief set there. Hubbard wanted religious recognition in the United States. That's where Scientology started. That's where it had to happen. And in order to get religious recognition, you have to use symbols and iconography and trappings that are religious, that people are going to immediately identify with and understand as religious. This is why Scientology has a cross. This is why there's a Sunday service. This is why there is a creed. These things were required in order to get the tax exemption. So Hubbard just drew on, he really put in the least amount of effort to it. What is it gonna take to look like and sound like a religion? Well, we put up some crosses. We have the little dog collar, the white tab. We have the draping, the appearances of a religion. Therefore, we are a religion, and that's why you see that the Christian symbols used in Scientology, because they're the most easily recognized religious symbols. But Hubbard hated organized religion. He was down on it every chance he got. He would badmouth it. So that's why the contradiction.
All right. And Lauren is great asks, can we do a fallacy of the week segment and learn about logical plot holes?
Yeah, I did some PSAs on logical fallacies. Maybe I should bring those back. Logical fallacy of the week. I would have to pay too much attention to the news,
right?
Which I'm really, for my own mental health, trying not to. I go through my news feed every day, but I try not to dive too deep into it. And then to do that work, I would require I do that. And I have to keep a little distance from how crazy the news cycles get. I've decided for myself I have to do that. So that's why you might not see something like that. But I should bring those PSAs back, because there's a lot of logical fallacies, and we should talk more about those.
Okay.
Cool.
Are the HCOB and OEC volumes still available to be purchased new from Scientology bookstores? I had both sets in the late 70s, but since threw them all away. I don't want them. Just curious.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Thomas, for that super chat, by the way. Boom. None of those books are still available through Scientology bookstores, old editions or new. In fact, I've been told for years now and confirmed that they've actually removed the technical volumes and policy volumes out of the orgs. I mean, they don't even have access to them. They just have these packs that RTC has put together of the chronological sequence of policies covering certain subjects, like all of the policies about how to write letters and be a letter writer have been put together into their own pack. and that's been issued by RTC, but they took the master packs of all the issues out of the orgs. I guess people have had a little bit too much to think about, to read, to learn about, and Miscavige wanted to close the, sort of tighten the loop a little bit as to what information Scientologists had available to them, which blows me away. But that's a cult for you, so really shouldn't blow me away at all.
Yeah. Okay. I saw ex-Scientologist asked. I saw AOLA staff carrying out all what they were derogatively calling Greenies hardcover books in 1992 to the trash dumpster.
hmm
Was that because Miscavige deemed them flawed?
No, in 1991 or two, there were. I mean, yes, they were flawed. It's out with the old and with the new. All of the OEC volumes, the policy volumes, were revised in 1991, and I believe the tech volumes were too. So it became a big shred party on all the old stuff. Same thing happened when all the basic books came out in 2004 or 5. When all of those were released, all the old editions of the books, shred party, right? In LA, we literally loaded up moving trucks full of the older edition materials and had them taken to the acid pits to be shredded.
The acid pits. That sounds like something out of like a fantasy movie or something.
Yeah. No, it's just that they use acid to shred stuff in LA. So, or at least that was one of the ways you could get rid of stuff, or pulp the material.
Okay.
So.
Sean McMullen asks, were Scientology services cheaper in different parts of the world? Why not go to South America and do the bridge?
They are, and you can, and people do. The price formula, the pricing formula for Scientology auditing and training services is based on average local median income for a given area. And for the United States, let's say, right, you'll do that calculation, and then you price accordingly. And it's not a roll your own pricing. This is all figured out by international management, and they issue the prices down to the local orgs. So in Mexico, auditing is significantly cheaper than it is here in the United States. Same in South Africa. And people have flown to South Africa to get, chunks of auditing for significantly cheaper. It costs them less to go down to Mexico or fly to South Africa, get, 50, 100, 200 hours of auditing and fly home. They could do all that for less than they could travel to Los Angeles or Clearwater and do that same amount of auditing. So that's a thing.
Okay. Dmitry Vladimir Nagant Q asks, I'd been working on getting over my social anxiety to go out and make friends. Then the pandemic happened. Now socializing is illegal. Why do you think mental health is being ignored? What to do?
Yeah. Mental health will always take a back seat to physical health, because physical health is something you can see and it manifests, where mental health is manifested, but it's the invisible, problem. And also, of course, when dead bodies are piling up, which has been the case with viruses like COVID, then mental health again takes a back seat, because, hey, you might be suffering, but at least you're alive. Now, this is the attitude. I'm not saying that this is great or wonderful or even how it should be. We are grossly negligent when it comes to caring for our mental health. Our society is actually, I believe, structured in such a way as to create mental health problems. That's what I believe that is true. And I follow that on the work of Johan Hari, who has done TED Talks about depression, anxiety, drug abuse, and addiction. And I think he's a pretty smart guy, because he's been looking to societal elements of the problem, not just what's wrong with you as an individual, that you have depression, that you have anxiety, that you are depressed. I think that it's a society problem, and our interaction with society and the way society, produces demands on us that some people are just not up to. And how do we deal with that? And how do we structure a society that cares for its people? Well, we got to really rethink this. And I think that his work needs to be built up on, so that we study it, figure it out, see where he might, he's got some good ideas, but how studied are they? How do we, figure all this stuff out? So that's what I think about that. So it sucks that in a time of plague or epidemic that we are stuck indoors. But, socializing is not completely turned off or illegalized. We had a little bit of
Yeah.
time yesterday with family.
Yeah.
You can gather in small groups. You mask up, be smart.
Mm-hmm.
But socializing's not completely illegal. People are out there
Yeah.
protesting on the streets right now, all over the place. That's not illegal. And meeting up with your friends or family is not, is
Yeah.
not
Small groups.
verboten if you do it right.
And there's always Zoom. It's not the same, but it's a way to get some social activity in.
Hmm. That's
We
right.
do that on weekends. We do like movie nights with our friends over Zoom and stuff.
That's right. In fact, we're going to do that tonight. And we meet every week. We've been doing a game night with our friends. That's how we've been maintaining social contact with some of our friends because we can't see them otherwise. So that's,
Mm-hmm.
or we haven't arranged to. So anyway, yeah, I can say that.
Yeah.
All right. Let me see if I can power through a bunch more of these in a few minutes
Yeah, we
because
got
we're
like
going to have
4
to wrap
minutes.
up in about 4 or 5 minutes.
All
Yeah.
right, let's see what we can do here. Polymath, why do you think Reza Aslan defended Scientology as a legitimate religion on his alternative religion series on CNN?
Because Reza Aslan is an attention whore who doesn't understand what religion and cults actually are. I hate to be so blunt, but that's my view of him. I do not like that man. I don't think he has honest takes on this. I think he's all about aggrandizing himself over the integrity of his content or statements. Sorry, that's where I'm at with the guy.
All right.
What else we got?
Do you see any similarities between Donald Trump and L. Ron Hubbard other than they both kind of look unsettling?
Yes. They're both narcissists of a high caliber degree. I don't know. I've called Trump a malignant narcissist. I might have been over enthusiastic in using malignant there. Narcissist, absolutely. The guy checks every box,
Mm-hmm.
and so does Hubbard. Hubbard and Trump also share a bit of megalomania. They're really into power and controlling people. I think Trump less so about controlling people. I don't think he gets off on that so much as controlling situations, if that makes sense, as a difference. And he's very, very self-aggrandizing. Trump is. Hubbard was too. Hubbard tailored some of his, I'm sort of thinking this through as I'm answering here, and Hubbard sort of tailored a lot of his self-aggrandizement to the time. So they sounded a bit different, but I think the intent is the same in their heads. They both exist in their own minds to such a degree that it sort of drives out everybody else. So no one else really exists in their world. It's all about them. And other people only matter to the degree that they are contributing to the narcissist's life. And that's Hubbard and that's Trump, as I see it.
Okay. And then Nerman asks, what's really in the CST, Church of Spiritual Technology, of 1980 established by attorney Earl Cooney for Hubbard Estate Vaults of Author Services, Inc.?
What's really in the CST vaults? What we've talked about. I mean, they could be stashing stuff there. No question about it. They have a setup there where you've got these underground vaults that are heavily secured, that are on properties that no one's easily going to get onto or is going to be there undetected. There are Sea Org members at these properties whose only job is making sure that those properties are secure. So sure, there could be some shenanigans being pulled there, but we know for a fact that what's there are the archived materials of L. Ron Hubbard's body of work. That's what's primarily there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Polymath asks, Steve Mingo is openly gay and clearly comfortable with it. Why would Scientology spend so much effort recruiting him to the Sea Org?
Who's that?
Steve Mingo. He's openly gay. So why would Scientology?
Oh, desperation. And I don't know about his Sea Org recruit cycle. I'll have to look into that, actually. That's a good question. Because he is pretty openly gay. And I don't know what he told them when he was first getting involved in Scientology about being gay. So I'll have to look at that. That's actually a pretty good question.
It's 10:45.
Oh yeah, time for us to start wrapping up here, guys. Because I got to go on to another live stream where I'm going to be for a couple hours. So if you want to join me there, I put the link up on Twitter, so so you can check that out. I have no idea what we're going to be talking about, just Scientology stuff, I think. So that'll be fun. Okay. So thank you guys. These are great questions. You guys have been awesome this whole time here. We usually go for about an hour, but like I said, we got to cut it off a little bit because I need some between time on the shows. And Portland is anyway. I'm sorry if I didn't get to some of your questions, but this was fun.
Yeah.
I had a good time with this. I hope you guys did too.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Comments good.
Yeah.
Good, because I haven't been paying a lot of it. I've only been glancing at them as
Yeah,
we've
nothing
been going.
too crazy. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Well, like I said, a lot of fun. Thank you very much for all of the super chats, by the way. Those were awesome. We really do appreciate and, need the support. So thank you for that. We very much appreciate it. And I think we'll wrap up.
All right.
All right. And join us on Wednesday for Critical Conversations. I don't have any plans on doing a live stream this week on Tuesdays like I sometimes do because I'm starting university this week. So I want to have the time available to prep and get that done right and make sure that I'm, acclimating into that new world. Anyway, that I have enough time for that. But we will be here Wednesday night. So we hope to see you then. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.